Hey guys! Since a lot of you guys were interested in another bullet journal video and felt really inspired to start a journal yourself, we are going to set up the next month together again. Last month I didn't have any cover for the month, that's why I decided to make it all fancy this time. Again, I sketched out my design with a pencil first, so I have a better idea of what I'm going to do. And since it's spring and everything is blooming, I decided to paint flowers and leaves. My sketch was really rough and loose because I didn't want to make the painting too perfect. I really love this effect when it's rather loose and, well, imperfect. I started painting leaves first and used one shade of green. And to get a little bit more depth and variety, I used a slightly yellowish green for some of the other leaves. By the way, here I'm using watercolors. I got the Leuchtturm bullet journal especially because it had thicker paper, so in case I wanted to paint with watercolors, it wouldn't be a problem. And it actually worked pretty well. The paper was just slightly wavy, but it was okay. For the flowers, I decided to use some red and pink colored watercolor. The design of the flowers is rather simple as well. I painted one layer with one color and then added a swirl with a darker color once the paint has dried. I'm not sure which type I was going for. They kind of look like roses, but they don't actually look like roses, so I don't know. But I still like it. And as long as they look like flowers, we're all good. For some other flowers, I used blue colored paint because I wanted to create a contrast to the red and the pink color. Once everything was dry, I went over the painting again and added a little bit more details and darkened some of the areas. There are a lot of people saying that they would be too lazy to make it all pretty, and I totally understand that. If you watched my last bullet journal video, I kept it super simple and I only added simple lines and a few colors. I didn't paint anything at all. But this time I was really in the spring mood, I guess, and I wanted to paint a little. And that's what I did. So even if you see all these pretty bullet journals online, it doesn't mean you absolutely have to make your journal this way. You can really make it your own. That's what I learned even if it's just my second month now. It's okay to change things, it's okay to mess up pages and having empty areas because you didn't fill anything in because you were either lazy or just didn't feel like doing anything at all. You can always start a freshly new page and start again. For the word May, I used the same font and the same pen again. This is a Tombow pen, a brush pen that you can use for lettering. And as always, you can check out my description box for more details on my supplies if you're interested in that. Since I didn't use my monthly spread that much in April for some reason, I decided to just use a smaller calendar below the May page. So in case I need to mark anything important, I would just circle it or color it and write below if necessary. As always, I managed to mess up the writing in the first page when I was already using my black pen. So what I did to remove it, I used this Faber-Castell eraser that is made for erasing things like ink. It kind of rubs off some of the paper, that's why I'm not sure how it will work on thinner paper, but here it was no problem at all. I just erased the black pen and wrote over it without the ink bleeding through the paper. For the bottom part, I created these swirly lines. I don't know, I felt like there was something missing and a divider kind of makes the page whole, I guess. Once the watercolor was dry, I outlined the circle with my fine liner, but to be honest, looking at it now, I feel like it looks better without the lines, but I still like it. I also wanted to add even more details to the flowers, that's why I used my fine liner again and outline the flowers and the leaves. As you can see, I didn't outline everything perfectly because I was still going for the more messy look of the painting, but you can of course make it however you like. By the way, I'm using Faber-Castell's fine liners and they come in different sizes, so for thicker lines I use the pen F and for super thin lines I'm using the pen XS. I also added a spread for the 30 Days of Brave challenge after a few pages, so I still have some pages left to complete the challenge. I discovered this challenge and started it somewhere in April, and I still plan on continuing it in May. Basically, the 30 Days of Brave challenge is a guided 30-day challenge for self-love and bravery. If you watch my painting out loud videos, you know that growing as a person and working on myself is something that is important to me, and that's why I decided to partner up with the makers of this challenge for this video, because I thought that you guys would enjoy challenging yourself as well. This challenge is completely free and all you need to do is signing up with your email. Once you do that, you will receive one email every day at 5 PM Eastern Time that will include an intention of the day, a challenge, simple exercises you can do, inspiring quotes and affirmations. And the great thing about it is that you can also join a supportive community that has the same intention and that encourages and uplifts each other. So every day you basically get a dose of inspiration and motivation. And you get to get active by thinking about a specific thing or just reflecting on it, taking some time for yourself and so on. And it only takes 5 minutes a day. Since I started this challenge not long ago, I only have a few days completed so far. I divided the spread into days and then into the intention, the challenge, and words of affirmation where I wrote down the quotes for the day. But you can also make another column and write down the affirmations separately. They come in the email, or you can write them yourself as well. I also saw people devoting a whole page or even 2 pages for just one day, so it's really up to you how you want to do it. There are no rules. I just wanted to have everything on these 2 pages and focus on the short affirmation so I can just repeat them more easily. I will have a link in the description box below where you can sign up for free. If you decide to participate as well, it will be awesome if you would share it with me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook using the hashtag 30daysofbrave. You can share the quotes you get or pictures from your journal so we get a glimpse into it. And you can also invite your friends to this challenge as well so we all can do it together. So this is what I have written down so far, and I'm already curious about what will come next. For now, let's move on to the weekly spread. In April, I used a whole page for the whole week, but for May, I wanted to do it the same but slightly differently. I discovered that putting everything into one day is just too confusing if I have work-related things, household-related things, and so on. So I thought maybe I should try and divide it. So I have the goals section for the day and the work that I have to do to achieve those goals. And I also have space for housework-related things and social media, so I can just be active and focus on things like that. This way I see exactly what needs to be done in which category, and the things are more likely to get done this way, hopefully. I also decided to split the habit tracker into weeks so I don't see a huge long list of days I have to accomplish. This way it will be less intimidating and I would just focus on one day or just 1 week at a time instead of 1 month. Here I have again 30 minutes of cleaning, making the bed, but also added a few new things like getting ready every day, not just sitting totally ratchet in my pajamas editing. I also want to be more active on social media and spend as less money as possible, and I also have notes and a finances box for every week now. So I can see exactly how much I spend each week and what things I might need to do this week. I also added another quote on top. This time I have always do your best, what you plant now you will harvest later. I also added a few dividers that I painted using watercolors again. The design last month was really simple, so I wanted to see how it will look if I would add more colors and details. I really like this watercolor effect instead of just using Crayola pens like last month. What do you guys think? For more details, I used my fine liner again and outlined some of the parts of the design. I'm very curious about how this setup will work, but I'm really positive about it. I think the spread will really help me focus on different things at one time so I don't neglect any areas because I'm just too focused on one area. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed watching me set up my bullet journal and want to see more videos like that. I would really appreciate it. And if you missed my setup for April, you can watch it here. And if you're interested in more watercolor videos, you can check out my painting playlist for more inspiration. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day and I will see you next week. Bye!